Hey coaches, so we're halfway through the week and I hope that you are staying on top of all the information that you're learning, but more importantly that you're applying it. If you're not applying the steps that we're giving you guys and that you're learning, then it's just gonna pile up and it's gonna be so stressful on you. So I just really encourage you to just go with it. Just start applying today and make it happen. So today is big. This is gonna help you guys a lot with how to break down your day when you have business hours, which by the way is huge, like massively huge. You have to set hours. You can't be available 24/7. If you are, you're setting yourself up for failure, you're setting yourself up for burnout, and even possibly more importantly, you're teaching your team that that's the best way to work, and they're also going to be set up for failure and get burned out as well. So set business hours. You have to treat this like a business. And in those hours, you will need to do your vital behaviors and incorporate a power hour. So I kind of touched on this when we talked about dividing up your day. So we're going to get a little bit more detailed on what to actually do during those business hours. So like I mentioned yesterday, I wake up at 5 a.m. And that's kind of my first block of time for work. That's when I do my personal, that's when I have my coffee, I spend time with the Lord, I do my devotion, and I also do personal development. And then I move on and I get online after I've made sure, like I literally sometimes, to stop myself, will set my devotion book on top of my computer to make sure that I don't open it before I spend time in the Word. But now it's become more of a habit. So anyway, once I get online, I go in and I check on my groups. I make sure that my challenge groups are running sufficiently. I answer any questions, things like that. I answer any messages that I may have gotten. I will do some follow-ups and just kind of touch base on that. So it's not getting real in depth, it's so early, so I just kind of make sure that I touch base on those things. My next block of time is from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, and that's when I do my workout. So that's my next non-negotiable in my business, because working out is, by the way, part of your business in case you didn't know that. Next, I set aside a time, and it kind of varies from day to day, but for the most part, it's from about 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, maybe 1:30, just kind of depends on the day. And each day is a different goal for me. Like I mentioned, it kind of varies, but what is important is that I've learned to set boundaries and setting up daily work hours, and that's going to be super, super important for you as well. So, but the one thing that is consistent in what I do is daily activity and tracking, and that's something that you have to get super consistent in as well. You can use any kind of business tracking tool that works best for you personally. I offer a few different ones to my team. Some have even developed their own. It doesn't matter as long as you're tracking. That's the important part, because you can't improve upon something that you're not tracking. If you can't figure out why people aren't joining your challenge groups. Well, can you look back and say that you did X amount of invites that week? If you're not tracking it, you're not able to do that. So, you have to be able to do that and evaluate how you've been doing so that you can improve upon it. For my personal use, and one that I recommend the most to my team, is the power of threes. And I'm going to share a video that I made for my team as well as a document for you guys to use that is 100% duplicatable. You guys can use it. You can pass it on to your teams. For me, it just breaks it down the most simplistic way. It incorporates the 3 vital behaviors, and it's kind of actually the 3 vital behaviors on steroids. So, and I even, before I will schedule, like if I have a one-on-one power call that's a routine with my coaches, I make sure they have to send me their power of threes or their tracking document, whatever, before I will actually make that call. They have to send it to me before we call, or else we will reschedule. That way I can help them. If they're struggling in a certain area, you as a coach can help your coaches see where they might need to pick up their activity. So if they're only sending out 2 invites a day and they're not getting much activity, maybe they should bump that up to 5 a day. Because as you know, hopefully you'll know that the work you do today can be anywhere from 30 to 90 days before you actually see repercussion on that. So you want to make sure that you're doing this consistently. So the biggest thing that a lot of people will ask is, well, I don't have an hour. I can't sit down for an hour at a time. Or, well, I just don't have that time. I can't do that. And that's totally okay. I'm blessed enough that I worked hard enough to get to this point to where I can do big blocks. If you're not there enough, that's okay. You might just have mornings. You might just have lunch hours, coffee breaks. Totally okay. But the biggest thing is that you're getting in your 3 vital behaviors. And you can knock out those 3 vital behaviors in no time. I'm also going to share a picture that I have made for my team that's a breakdown of Power Hour. And I kind of break it down into 2 segments. You can do it however you want. You don't have to do it, in order, but it just kind of gives you a checklist to go from. So I would just recommend that, even if you just have 2 30-minute blocks, that it's allotted time that you sit down and you are laser focused on your business, because this is a business after all. And if you aren't treating it as such, you're not going to be as successful as what you're hoping. And since you're a part of this group, our assumption is that you guys want to be successful and you want to grow and you want to reach some pretty awesome goals. So in order to do that, you've got to get serious. You have to set down business hours, set those aside, and within those business hours, you've got to start tracking and doing your Power Hour. So I will post all of the information below. And after that, I want to see your breakdown of your Power Hour. Give me a breakdown of your day. Show me what your day is going to look like, what your work hours are going to be, and what you plan on doing during those hours.